Hello, everyone. Today we have a very interesting person with us. So I'll be talking to Vimal Kumar, and Vimal is the head of Crow Lab and senior lecturer from the University of Waikato. So thank you so much, Vimal, for joining us, for accepting to talk with us today. And how are you doing?
I'm good. Ankita, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So before you introduce yourself, I would like to say something interesting to you. When I met you the very first time, when we met in person, I had a very different image of you in my mind. When I met you in person, I was like, he's just like me. He's just like any other person. So I think a lot of people like myself, they don't reach out to you, industry leaders, CEOs, or MDs of big corporations or organizations, because they have this fear or feeling that why will they talk to me? So thank you so much for making yourself easily accessible. I really appreciate it.
No, the pleasure is all mine, Ankita. And we do collaborate with a lot of people from the industry, and always we're always open to talking to people. And I'm not going to say that we help people. Help it's always a two-way collaboration. We get as much help from people in the industry who are on the forefronts of. We're in the cybersecurity field, so it is like a forefront. So we learn so much from people who we collaborate in the industry as well, and we like to give back as well. So yeah, the pleasure is mine to be working with you.
Thank you so much. So basically, the aim of today's talk is to, make cybersecurity accessible to, everyday man, and, the interesting things that are happening in Waikato. And of course, you are the head of Crow Lab. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about New Zealand Cybersecurity Challenge, and, what's the purpose of it, how we are helping community and, Waikato in the tech space and cybersecurity.
Sure. So, Ankita, we started the cybersecurity challenge because we felt that when it comes to our field, particularly the cybersecurity field, there are multiple paths to success. It's not as if you go through the university, go through, do a bachelor's degree, do a master's degree, and then you learn a lot of things, and then you start working, and that's the only path to success. There are various other paths to success, but the main thing when we talk about cybersecurity is thinking out of the box, having strong fundamentals, but also thinking out of the box. And I'm talking about the more technical stuff here.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is a need for a lot of different kind of people in cybersecurity, but I will be talking from a more technical perspective. The main thing is thinking out of the box, along with having good fundamentals. And we find that there is no easy way, there's no systematic way to make people think out of the box. This is something that people cultivate over time.
Hmm.
It's not as if you go and do a bachelor's degree or do a master's degree, you will automatically start thinking out of the box. Yes, that will give you good technical, strong fundamentals and will open your horizons. But this is something that people cultivate.
Yeah.
So we felt that there was a need of getting people together in some sort of a way where they can explore what they have learned, and they can try and see where, okay, I've learned all of these things. Let's try and put that to use in a challenging but fun environment. Yes, we do all certifications, and we do take tests and all these things, but that's not fun.
No.
So well, you can say it's fun, but it's a different kind of fun, right? And so that was the whole purpose of setting up the cybersecurity challenge, to create a platform that will bring all these people together and have a fun sort of gathering.
So I think this is the eighth year of Crow Lab hosting it. Is that right?
Yes, this is the eighth year we are running the challenge.
So it was you or someone else who came up with.
No, it wasn't me. So the challenge started 2014 or 2013, I can't remember. No, so I wasn't involved from the beginning. I joined Waikato in 2015, and that's when, since that
Right.
time, I have been involved in this. So, there are a lot of these CTFs that take place, capture the flag. But the way we run the challenge and the way it is different from the CTFs is because along with CTFs we do a lot of other activities as well, and those activities vary from time to time. So we keep in mind what is happening in the world. Over the previous years, we've run like a drone hacking challenge. We've run an IoT hacking challenge. We run purple team challenges. We run red team, blue team challenges, along with the CTF that we run. And so we do all of these things. And this year, along with the CTF, we are doing an incident response round,
Right.
which is quite topical with what's happening locally and nationally and internationally. And so yes, that's what the challenge is about. Bringing people together to have fun and also to test their skills, with CTFs and other different kind of things like policy based quizzes or incident response and things like that. Yeah, that's what the whole challenge is.
So I think, Vimal, we both have been approached by people, and they're asking and wanting to know if we would be doing these or opening these hackathons for overseas entrants. Do you plan on doing that in future? Like, what are your views on that?
So far, as you know, this has been a national sort of event, and there are certain technical and logistical challenges that we need to figure out. It is obviously where the challenge that we have, at least around 01,
Yeah,
is on the internet, and it is available to everyone, so to say.
yeah, yeah.
But we only allow people in New Zealand to participate because what we want to do is we want to create a community of people. We want cybersecurity enthusiasts who are interested in these kind of things. We want industry, we want people from the government to all come together at the same place
Right.
at the same time. I have interaction and I have flow of ideas back and forth. And so that is also a big part of our challenge. From the online component, we're going to pick top few people and then we're going to invite them on campus for further rounds for the challenge. And so obviously that's what we want to do. And that doesn't fit well
Yeah,
with having a challenge that is open to everyone because obviously they can't come in. Or even if they can come in, it's just too expensive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there are these logistical challenges, but we are exploring ways of how, if we can do similar things that are open to everybody,
Mhm.
but there are technical and logistical challenges around that.
Awesome. So, I don't come from a technical background, and I mean, everybody knows that there is serious skill shortage in this industry. IT security industry. What is University of Waikato or your team or your lab is doing to fill that gap? Because that's the main area where me and my team's focusing on to encourage more people to come on board and contribute their knowledge or experience in IT security.
So, Ankita, the Pro Lab was started in 2012. Back in 2012, University of Waikato realized that there was already a skill gap in
Wow.
cybersecurity, and they realized that it is going to exacerbate. And that was one of the reasons they established the cybersecurity lab. They saw that there were people in the industry working in security. Obviously, there were people in academia working in cybersecurity, but there was no focus, and so there was no pipeline of a pipeline that would produce cybersecurity graduates that would go on in the industry. So it was quite ad hoc at that point of time. So cybersecurity lab at Waikato was established with that point of view, with that in mind. And then right after the lab was established, the University of Waikato established this Master of Cybersecurity program. And so we have
Which is the only master's course that of
Um, I, I, I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think it is the only master's program that is focusing on cybersecurity. But I haven't checked lately. There may have, so I'm not entirely sure if we are the only one, but we were for a few years. And this was the first master of cybersecurity in New Zealand
and it's the first lab of
and the first academic cybersecurity lab as well. And so over the years, we have produced a number of cybersecurity graduates, and our cybersecurity graduates are working in a lot of different companies. Most of the companies that you hear about that are engaged in cybersecurity. Our graduates are there. Our graduates are in industry, are in academia, they're in government. So yeah, so University of Waikato did recognize that there was a skill shortage, and that's what the cybersecurity lab and University of Waikato have been doing since the last 6 or 7 years to try and reduce that skill shortage, that gap. But we can only do so much, and the gap is just keeping on increasing.
Yeah, I've been saying this to people that, cybersecurity, and I would like to know your take on this as well, because you're the expert, that cybersecurity is not a technology problem. It's a people problem, right? And, to compete against those bad people or the skilled hackers, we need an army of allies. And how do we build that army? By training people, by encouraging people, by showing people that this career is so rewarding and you can do so much in this industry, because cybersecurity is not just penetration testing or red teaming or purple teaming. It's a big field, and I think we can welcome all sorts of people from different minds and perspectives to this industry.
Yeah, in the past, most people who did security, so security was an offshoot of computing. Cybersecurity was an offshoot of computing, and computing has borrowed a lot from science and mathematics. So in the past, when people thought about cybersecurity, the people who were looking seriously at cybersecurity were people who were really strong, technically strong in computing. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, please tell me it has changed.
And things have changed. Lack of cybersecurity has become a big problem, and it is everybody's problem now.
Yeah,
It is not just somebody sitting on his computer and thinking, I think I can break this. Now,
yeah,
how do I fix this? That's not, that was probably what was happening 20, 25 years ago.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
um, but that's not what we have right now. But I think some people still see security from that lens. Okay? But like you said, cybersecurity is not a technical problem. It's as much a technical problem as defense is a technical problem. So yes, technology is involved. Cyber attacks are possible only because of technology. But the problem that we have right now is the field has matured so much, has grown so much that now we require people at all levels, and we require people with different skill sets. We require people with technical skill sets. We require people with psychological background. We require people with sociological background. We require people with all different kinds of backgrounds to be able to work together and to be able to properly defend against cyber attacks.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And I think people who are listening to us can get a lot, because most of the times they think, I don't have that background and I can't get into cybersecurity. And I would like to change that mindset, that you just have to be passionate about IT security, and that opens the door to IT security. That's how what I feel. And before
Yeah, I
you
mean,
go,
no, that is true. Like I said before, the thing that you require with security is thinking out of the box,
exactly,
and that is the primary thing. You need to think outside the box. Other stuff, if based on your background, whether you have a technical background, whether you have a non-technical background, whether you have a psychology background, whether you have a behavioral science background, or whether you have a business background, you know you can find that skill set necessary in one of the areas of cybersecurity. But what you need primarily is the ability to think out of the box.
exactly, and I totally agree with that. Before you go, Vimal, I wanted to ask you: people with your expertise generally they work with corporations. You've been a professor at University of Florida. Now you are senior lecturer, at the University of Waikato. Do you have anything against corporations, or you really like teaching, or you enjoy teaching?
No, actually, I have worked in the industry as well.
Oh, I
I've
didn't
worked
know that.
with this organization called Computer Sciences Corporation, and I was working with mainframes and database. So I've I've worked with the industry. I've worked in industry as well. But what I like about my job in academia is the fact that, well, I like teaching. That is one of the reasons as well. But also the fact that I get to experiment
Yeah.
with a lot of different things. And I have an engineering background, so as an engineer, that gives me a whole lot of satisfaction to be able to just experiment.
Wow.
And also, I get to work with our students who are brilliant students, and they come up with these really amazing ideas. And then we can go ahead and experiment on those ideas, make things and break things, and that is at the end of the day very satisfying and very fun.
And I think that's important when you like really satisfied with what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing. And I think your students, and as you said, you get to experiment with your job. I think it will change the space because you get the freedom of changing a lot of things, and I think that's just great. And yeah, thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's always wonderful speaking with you, like I always do.
No, thank you for. I know you're quite busy. Thank you for taking your time out. And
No, I enjoy it. But again, I wanted to ask if somebody has questions regarding this, New Zealand Cybersecurity Challenge 2021, or they want to know more about it, or any other questions around it. How can they reach out to you? Can they reach out to you directly, or is there someone in Crow Lab that they can reach out? You know.
so we have a the Crow Lab email address. Crow Lab has its own website. So if you email us on that email address, one of us would be able to help you, or you can reach out to me or other people in the Crow Lab directly, and we are always happy to talk about cybersecurity stuff, and in general, just happy to help.
Thank you so much, Vimal. I think we all are looking forward to the long weekend. So I will
Yes, yes, we are.
will not take more of your time, but thank you so much for speaking with me once again.